Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and welcome the Juke back from Atlanta, Georgia. The guys down at 2J Racing did an absolutely fantastic job getting this car finished and back to me, given that I had a extremely short timetable with this car in order to make the last race motive event at Pocono Raceway. The car made 426 horsepower at the front wheel, which is absolutely ridiculous. The car is absolutely terrifying, not in a good way.
Setting 3, like, it's gonna try and kill us. It's a handful.
Okay. Well, now I'm excited. When we get to setting 3, I need to be like this, basically.
Dude, it literally is all over the road. I'm more scared of this thing in this setting than the R8.
More scared of a Juke than the R8. This is... I feel like I should be concerned. That's natural doing that, just torque steering. That feels like crap. But I see why you're scared of it. Yeah, if I die in a Juke, that's going to be like just an insult. 20? Does it even read 30? Because it looked like it hit 29.9.
It'll read that.
Okay. I never thought I'd say this in my life. This Juke needs some suspension work to keep it straight. It needs a hand letting this power down, and that's...
I was able to get the car up to the race motive event. We had an absolute blast, as we always do. They are by far the best racing events that we go to on the East Coast, but I was wrestling this thing all day. In the cool mountain air, the car was hitting boost cut. Because I had just received the car like 15 hours earlier, I was not able to know what I needed to know to make the adjustments on the boost controller. At the event though, did manage to smoke a GTR, which was kind of what I was hoping to do from the get-go. Yes, you should go over to my buddy Sean's Instagram page and ridicule him as much as you possibly can, because he actually did technically lose a race to a Juke, even though his car is much, much faster than this thing. I have never had a fast front-wheel drive car. I am not very well versed in what it takes to make these things go straight. And what this thing is doing is, because it's on stock suspension, it is loading so much on the rear end of the car that the front wheels are losing traction. And whichever one of them gets traction first, that's the direction the car goes. I made the joke that I would rather drive the R8 turned up than this thing, and it makes 1,000 more horsepower. This thing is completely out of control. But what I think that I have is a quick fix, because unfortunately coilovers, which will solve our issue, are a couple weeks away. I think that maybe for around 80 bucks total, I might be able to get this thing go straight, and then we can actually have some fun with it.
I hate that I like it. I don't know, I'm kind of liking it. I hate to say that.
Here is the first real look at the modifications to the Juke here. You all saw in the last video, we went ahead and installed this Garrett 660 turbo custom intercooler piping. The front mount intercooler is actually from an Evo 10. This is an off-the-shelf AMS intercooler that has been modified. You can see the piping, very, very tight fit down there. Josh over at JCH Weld Fab went ahead and did all of the intercooler piping, the intake piping down here, and then the guys down at 2J actually extended it into this area right there for some cool air. Josh also took care of the exhaust side, and I'll show you my favorite part of the car underneath. We did do the dual 2J Racing oil catch can setup. For as much as crammed into this engine bay, I think that it is a pretty cool little setup. It does have meth injection also to help keep the intake temps cool. You can see the pump right down there. Basically, the meth injection comes on over 15 pounds of boost. Let's go ahead, put this thing up in the air, and I'll show you my favorite part. Bam! That's right. This thing has a cutout on it. I wanted to use the factory muffler. If I'm going to be driving this thing every day, I wanted it to be quiet. If I have to get up and go to work early in the morning, I wanted this thing to be as quiet as possible. So I went ahead and used the factory muffler, and the factory piping runs all the way up to the middle of the car here. We have a little step down junction, and when the cutout is closed, this thing is nice and quiet. I absolutely love the way it sounds. You hear a ton of turbo noise. But if we need to, on the higher boost settings, you go ahead, just open this thing up. There's a switch in the car. It gets a little bit loud and a little bit rowdy. Joe down at 2J Racing did tell me that he thinks even with the cutout open, that was our limiting factor, is the exhaust is a little bit restricted on some of the cars with similar setups to these that have full straight through exhaust. He said that they generally see about 20 to 30 more horsepower. Me personally, I'm willing to make that sacrifice because, again, I don't want this thing just all loud and crazy all the time. I love being able to close the cutout. Got like that OEM Plus where it just gives you a little bit of exhaust noise, a ton of turbo noise, but it's still pretty darn quiet. I was willing to make that sacrifice for 20 or 30 horsepower. And we can't get the thing to go straight anyway, so another 20, 30 horsepower at this point doesn't mean a whole lot to us. Moment of truth time here. That is exactly what that thing is supposed to do. Look at that fit on there. Now, I did order 4 of these. Obviously, we just need them for the rears. So we can kind of, if I need to, we can put another one there to really stiffen it up. So as far as fitment here, these things are perfect for these springs. This is going to do exactly what I want it to do. It's just a matter of if that's going to actually fix our issue. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and make a hit on map 1, which is low boost map, but I only have 93 in the tank right now. To run map 2 and 3, I need to add boost tank to the tank, and I'm not going to do that unless I think that this is actually going to work. On map 1, it runs about 15 pounds of boost, which is about 5 pounds lower than map 2. Also, I don't have the race wheels on here. You guys noticed in the intro that I borrowed Lee's autocross setup from his Tesla, and it has AO52s on it that work pretty damn good for this thing. So we'll see what these tires can actually hold and see how it does on this setup right now. Oh my God, that felt way better. Way better. That just went straight. All right, I guess we got to fill this thing up with some gas and then swap the wheels and tires and see what we end up with. The race Juke is back. I absolutely love putting these wheels on this car, and you heard me correctly. This is Lee's autocross setup from his Tesla. They are 18 by 9.5, I believe. I think plus 35 with 275/40 18 Yokohama AO52s on them. Obviously, what I am worried about is the traction, so that is why we are going to go ahead and put these on there, get a much larger contact patch, but the fitment on them honestly couldn't be better for this car. And UPS Eli was talking crap off camera. He's going to meet us at the track on Saturday with the Cobra, right, Eli? Right, Eli? Oh, wait, no, he's not. He's not coming back out of the truck now. Setting 2, here we go.
I like it with it closed better. Has it got a cut on it?
Yeah.
In my office, that sounds exactly like the Fast and Furious Eclipse when he's in the parking lot and he's brum, 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 and he takes
Don't worry, bro. You'll get to go for a ride next.
I'm good. Thanks.
You were the one that was most terrified when we went last time, which is why I picked you.
I remember there being a truck on the other side when you did. Feel pretty good.
A little better.
Yeah.
Well, I'm feeling confident now. We're turning it up to 3. No, but still not great.
Wow.
As bad as that felt, it did feel better, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Was Eric frightened?
Yeah.
Did you say yeah?
Yeah.
Well, if Eric's scared.
Yeah, it still doesn't really go totally straight.
Did it go straighter?
Put on your seatbelt.
Did you ask them if like it's normal, like for stock suspension shit to just drive? Like,
Honestly, I don't think there's anybody that's dumb enough to do this with stock suspension besides me.
oh yeah,
That's
it,
a little better.
oh yeah, it's still just
See how it just...
it's hunting left or
Yeah, it's still... That time at least, though, it went mostly that way. Well, my genius mad scientist fix didn't solve all of our issues. Setting 3, it's still pretty well all over the place, but we're going to have to try and take this thing to the track on Saturday, see if a little bit of sunlight and just temperature with track prep solve some of our issues, and we can get a clean pass to really figure out how fast this thing actually is. It is a gorgeous day and the pits are packed. It is very, very busy up here, more so than I was anticipating because we got here a little bit later than I would have liked. We're going to try and get as many runs in as we can here, and fingers crossed we get some good passes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh my God. Well, less than stellar on that pass there. That was the prettiest 15-second pass you've ever seen though, right?
oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, had to have been good.
Hooked and launched.
Yeah. I just sent the picture of the time slip to Lee, and the other car went like 1250, and he's like, yeah, you said you'd be happy with a 1250. I said, yeah, I'm the other car. He just was like, oh.
Oh.
Yeah. Far from stellar. The car is still definitely not going straight. Third and fourth felt a lot better. Second was kind of all over the place. So we'll see. Maybe a little bit more heat in the tires might help out a little bit. I didn't do a burnout on that at all. I may do that. We'll kind of see. I also just don't want to break something. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, guys, that is 2 weekends of racing that just haven't really gone our way with this car. I guess I was just kind of foolish to think that I could throw that much power at this car on stock suspension and basically just come out and have it go straight. The car is just, it's an absolute handful. And, you know, I hate to end a video on this note just because it's basically we didn't accomplish anything in this video. But if people that are watching this know about them specifically, even just knowledge on front wheel drive cars, what can be done to maybe get this thing to go straight, like I said, said, I talked to Joe about buying coilovers for it. That might just be the direction that we have to go in order to get this thing to go straight. I just don't know if we have enough time this year to get them on and get back to racing before it gets too cold in order to get some decent test passes under our belt with this thing. But as always, appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you for the support, and we will see you in the next video.